Go back now to Ogun State, where our correspondent Niyi Omoniyi is on standby to give us an update on the trial and the hearing proceedings of Anthony Joshua's driver. Niyi Omoniyi, please confirm you can hear us. Niyi Omoniyi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so can you just give us your observations during and after the court proceedings?
Well, I can barely hear what the studio is relaying to me, but I want to believe we're asking for observations in court, and I'll quickly speak to that so that we can save minutes. I was just looking around and trying to observe his facial expression, that is that of the defendant in person of the 46-year-old Adeniyi Mobolaji Kayode while we were in court. I'm just trying to imagine what was going through his mind during the proceedings, because a case was up before his own case was actually called up, and you know, he just had his face bowed to the ground, covered with his hoodie. He had to remove that once he got into court, and you know, I was just pausing, just trying to imagine the things that was going through his mind, while every other person involved in these particular accident, the ones who are alive, reeling around, okay, probably been discharged from hospital. He is here facing the repercussion of an action. Of course, he has not been convicted for. The court's charges, we are not privy to it, but one stands out amongst them is manslaughter, which the prosecuting counsel has said is carries a life sentence, and that is why during the proceeding, the prosecuting counsel noted that they would like to duplicate the case, pass it to the Office of Public Prosecution through the Attorney General of the State Office so that they can get legal advice. We know in cases like this, when things happen, it's mostly because the prosecution is trying to seek a lesser punishment or some sort of, I don't want to run in contempt of court, and I don't want to preempt the court, so I won't be able to say for what reason specifically, but that didn't sit well with the counsel to the defendant. No, he noted that today was supposed to be for definite hearing, and of course at the Shagamu High Court here, that was what was supposed to happen today. The prosecutor had about 4 witnesses. 3 were present, one from the Federal Road Safety, one from VIO, a police officer, I believe, and of course a medical doctor who he mentioned was absent. So those were the scenarios that played out today. The prosecutor sought an adjourned date, of course, for these duplication of case to be passed across to the Department of Public Service, Public Prosecution Office, and he had no choice because it rests on the discretion of the court. The justice who presided over the case was Justice Olufunmilayo Semofun, and she decided in upon hearing the both parties just for points that the case should be adjourned, and of course the prosecuting counsel should take up should duplicate the files and send it for legal advice. So those were the scenarios that happened in court. And moving out of court, immediately after the court, the counsel to the defendants came and granted some interviews and noted that they were not comfortable with it, but of course they can't do anything about it because of the court. The defendant himself could not speak. His counsel spoke on his behalf. He noted that he's not in the right frame of mind right now. That is his counsel saying that, noting that maybe when we hear the next court adjournment, when we are here for the next court adjournment, he will be in a better frame of mind to speak, which will be February the 25th. But for now, the case has been adjourned. The defendant has met his bail condition, of course, and he comes from home, and he will also come from home for the next court hearing. The defendant counsel, however, noted that if by next week nothing concrete has still been said as regards the legal advice the prosecuting counsel is trying to get from the Department of the Public Prosecution Office, they will move to strike out the case. This has raised a lot of controversies, a lot of questions, and everybody's just hoping to see what pans out on the 25th of February and what will become the fate of Anthony Joshua's 46-year-old driver.